All right, all right. Good morning, good morning. I hope you have a fresh cup of coffee and are ready to go. Good morning, Stephen. Good morning to you, Perry. We've got a few people coming in from the waiting room, getting their audio connected. We're going to give it just that normal minute, let everybody in. Fresh coffee and eager to see you. Oh, I love it. I love it. Anyone who was worried about no interest rate cuts this year. That one guy came out and he's like, oh, they're not going to. I'm like, come on, man. Of course they are. Powell came out and said as much. Markets responding. All right, let's do it. Let's get in. Welcome to the Market Watch Group midweek check in. It's Wednesday morning. My name is Scott. I'll be your host and friend. Here are our disclaimers. As always, educational, illustrative only. We are not brokers. We are not advisors. We don't make recommendations. Yada, yada. Okay. Today's agenda. Let's start with today's opening analysis. We'll look at the futures first. We'll look at the news. We know that we are moving into employment data now. And as far as Fed speak goes, we are listening to Jer Bear, the main guy. So Powell is speaking, testifying, I guess you would say, before Congress and the Senate today and tomorrow. Certainly, we're paying attention to that to find out the likelihood of upcoming cuts. So, all right, let's get into it. Let me pull one thing up here. We have it ready to go. Okay. Okay. Yeah, let's start off here. What's going on? Well, the futures are responding to something, right? Um, and you can see it was a pretty fast reaction here. We were overall flat most of the night, and then all of a sudden, bang, what's going on? S&P's up 0.58, Dow's up 0.5%, NASDAQ getting close to 1, so is the Russell, both about 0.85. Well, oil's up almost 1.5%. We certainly do not love that, right? We've talked about noticing a little bit of momentum in the energy, oil slash basic materials arena, which could put some additional prices pressure on for inflationary reads. We'll see. Text lead U.S. futures higher in wait for Powell. Powell says rate cuts likely at some point this year. Likely in 24. They're going to proceed cautiously. What do we have? We've got Fed. The beige book comes out today. Let's go look at the calendar. We have ADP employment. Okay, Stephen. Did anybody see the ADP number? I think that released, but I don't know. what was said. If anybody happened to catch the ADP number, let me know. Last month we were at 107. We're supposed to be at 150, and that should have been announced. Interestingly, Powell's not supposed to talk till 10, so I'm not sure. Whoops. I'm not sure where they're getting that read from. Plans to tell lawmakers. There we go. The Fed chair plans. So we may hear what that some point looks like. Right? Good morning, Bob. Yeah, if anyone knows what that ADP number was, let me know. Good morning, Michael. Good to see you. Glad you guys could both make it. Later this morning, as we start ending, we will have. So we have ADP has come out. We just don't know. Expected at 150. Job openings comes out, and we have the Fed speaking here in about 40 minutes. Later this afternoon, we get the Bayes book. Tomorrow, more Powell plus jobless claims. Friday, non-farm payrolls expecting to come in at 200,000. Unemployment expected to stay flat. 140, Steven said. Thank you. 140. So they were at 107 previously, expecting 150. They got 140. That's in line. That's in line, I would say. So, okay. What does this all mean? Well, let's just stop and take a look at everything for a second. Because yesterday we did get, so as we talk about our current score and how this may influence it, you can see we did get a red day, and it did come down and test our line. But overall, the trend is held. Obviously, today we are set to open back here. Let's see, where's today? Here's the 6th at 510 and change. So we're basically going to open back at the top of this. So did our trend break? No, trend is held. But we did get an above average volume down. Yesterday, average volume was 66 million. We got 72.8. That's about 10% higher. So, yeah, and it was a red day. So that's going to drop us back down, I would imagine, to a 0.25. The volume's been a tough one. You can see we got bullish, and then we pulled back, popped it, but now we're going to pull back. But it's fluctuating positively. It's not going 0.25 minus 0.25 minus 0.5 back to 0, but it's not back and forth like, oh, is it the buyers or the sellers? It's the buyers, and the buyers a little stronger, a little less strong, but always in the positive. Keep in mind, right? So our trend scores aren't going to change, at least as of now, right? We haven't seen anything yet. All we've seen is we got higher on Monday. Stayed higher on Monday, pulled back a little bit on Tuesday, but our trend is still holding. So I feel reasonably comfortable with that. Give me your thoughts. Yeah, if you had bullish trades on, you didn't love yesterday, of course, but a lot of things actually sustained. So, yeah, I feel okay about that. Let's go look at the VIX. Okay, so what did we say about the VIX? We said it's likely if it pops, seems to be popping, right? we had this high that was all the way up to here. And then we had this lower high. And that was a nice little bullish run. And then we popped up, and now it seems like this might be another one. Okay, that's what we're looking for, right? We said that is if the sellers come in and they don't push it too much, then what? Then our strong market posture of a 7 prevails. We're a 7. We're strong. I'm bullish. And you still see like people are like, oh, there's not gonna be any rate cuts. Oh, it's gonna be a hard landing. Oh, and there's all this prognostication and thinking and feeling and believing. All I want to do is sit here and see what's going on. What do I see? And trade that. And we can get through all that noise. I promise. Let's go look at the Fed for just a second. Yeah, everything's looking okay. Obviously, still no expectation of anything happening in March. And still at 4-1 against in May. This is where it's going to be interesting over the next 2 days as we get the base book and we get the Jerome Powell speech / testimony. God, I'm trying to remember what year it was. It was really early into my coaching. It might have even been before I started. So anywhere, somewhere around like 2002 to 2004. There was an Alan Greenspan, a young, fresh-faced Alan Greenspan. I don't think Alan Greenspan ever had a young, fresh face. He's testifying before, I think it was Congress, and someone asked him a question. He said, Congressman, I should probably warn you, if my answer seems particularly clear to you, you probably didn't understand what I said. Oh my God. It was like the greatest. Everyone's just kind of watching, and the guy didn't even really seem to get it at first. I can't remember who it was. I need to find that clip. Greenspan was a gangster. Let's just put it that way. Okay. June. No one's been as good as him ever since. You can see June is really starting uh to pump back up again. I was May, and I think I'm moving to June, but I think I'm June. There's our opening bell. You can see we're now 2-1 for the cut in June. So yeah. Okay. Then we go to July. And we have 4-1 in favor of at least one cut, and 1-1 odds that it might be our second cut in July. So the market's staying hopeful for sure. That's most definitely true. Okay, so market's open. Let's go take a quick peek. You can see the VIX is coming down, but it's still inside, right? Still inside. We still don't know. We'll see. If you're feeling more anticipatory, you might be getting signals today. But yeah, let's go through our watch list and see what we have. Apple. We've been kind of off of the Apple train for quite a while. Even to the point, right, where when it broke this support level here, now what you'll notice is the line of consolidation that was going like this seems to be accelerating down, into a more steep angle. At the end of the day, there's nothing for us on Apple until what? It doesn't have to get back above the 50 necessarily, but it does have to smash back up. So what would I need on something like this? I would need first a V. First a V, something maybe like this. You can see that's well below, even if this comes down, that's well below the 50-day. I'm okay with that. Then it pulls back and it doesn't get back down to here. That's the first time I would say, oh, okay, let's maybe give this a shot. Conservatively, wait till it does that back above the 50. So what we have here, this is more aggressive if you love Apple. I would think about Apple in that situation. A lot of other stocks I wouldn't. I'd wait for them to get back above their 50. So okay. AIG. AIG pulls back. I'm back in. So I got out actually over here, the last of it at the weekend, and then all of a sudden it just sort of popped. The stochastic still says coming down. I'm looking for a consolidation. We'll see what happens, right? Now be patient. That was a great winning trade for sure. AMD did not catch that one. That one moved pretty fast. Yeah, if I was in that trade, I'd be starting to think about locking in some gains. It's made a nice move, as big as any move we've seen. That's the biggest thing we've seen it do, and it's pretty strong. And you'll notice it's replicated that already. So if I was in this, I'd be thinking, hey, let's ease a little bit there and then get ready to go. Steven said there was a commentary last night comparing past presidents who won a second term due to the economy. If rates come down, Biden's favored. If rates stay higher, increase, Trump is favored. Interesting. Interesting. I'll tell you for me what it is. Certainty. The market loves certainty. And this election is a little scary due to the potential for uncertainty. We don't want elections decided in courts for the market. That doesn't do well for the market. If you go back and you look at post-election during Bush Gore, when there was in the elections, market was displeased. Didn't like that. We want to know. We want certainty. It's an interesting thing around elections when I talk to traders, because it's inevitable that their political leanings eke into their market posture. And I always caution people against that, right? Where it's like, oh, I hate fill in the blank. Biden, Trump, you had one of each here, and it's going to be terrible for the market. Nope. Both of them kept going up. Right? Like, nope. And you're convinced, the policies, this, that. Nope. The market just prevailed. The market will prevail. Is that a two? Is what a two? Sorry, Sandy, I missed when that came in. Let me know if you still have that question. Also around budget deadlines, absolutely right. The angle, oh yeah, that's steep, right? That's parabolic. That's hard to sustain, which is why I'd be like, oh, let's book some and tighten up my stops. Amazon, I think, is still in its consolidation here. In this pullback, I would be okay if it pulled all the way back here to 170. While that's happening, this is moving on up. So yeah, that looks bullish, but we can wait. Wait a little bit of time. AXP looks close. It looks like it's flagging again here. Stochastics is coming down. What are we waiting for? Pop out. Yeah, Stephen, you're 100% right. He said, I don't believe politics affect the market as much as people want to say. It's driven by business data, some emotions. 100%. 100%. Like I said, it's, as you process it and talk about it, people's, like, they just sort of expose which way they lean, which always makes me laugh. I try to be very agnostic. I mean, I hate politics in general, but I try to be very agnostic to politics in my trading, right? Like, whether I like whoever the candidate is or not is not going to influence how I see the market. I'm not like, oh, great, now the market's going to drop. Come on. That's just crazy. So, yes, 100%. It'll be interesting. It'll be an interesting one for us to talk about the election. What more could we want? I've got Jon Stewart on Mondays for the Daily Show. I mean, I've been watching him around elections for so long. It's great to see him back. Okay. Here we go. Boeing. Speaking of Jon Stewart, anyone watched? There was quite the scathing. If you didn't see it, go to YouTube, pull up Daily Show. There was quite the scathing commentary on Boeing last night. Well, it was Monday. I watched it last night on repeat, but if you tell me if you saw it, but if not, go watch it. Jon Stewart lit him up. Really kind of funny stuff. Apparently Boeing had a CEO who married his cousin and he looked like he was the product of cousins. It's pretty good stuff. Just saying. Okay, but it's not a good stock right now. We have no interest, but we watch it because it's an interesting representation out of industrials. BLDR just won't pull back and give us an opportunity here. I thought this was going to be it, and it's just kind of, yeah, I'd like to see it a little bit more. It has this beautiful steady trend that I would really like to see it get to, and then I'm going to definitely pounce. But I'm going to be patient in the meantime, as it does seem to be consolidating now. BX is kind of turned sideways on us. Yeah. If you look at how you define the trend now, a little sideways, well off of the winter highs in December. I'm a little reluctant on that. I think there's better. We might need to do some searching. Oh, Citigroup, what is happening with you? I tried to be patient. I did actually take a little bit up around this area because I'm like, ooh, why there, you might say. That's why. If I'm ever looking for like, hey, where's a good spot to maybe take a little profit? Look left, find an old high. That's a great spot. And you can see why. You might say, well, Scott, why didn't you go to the top of that one candle? Because that's literally that price got there for like a minute and then it left. But if I have a place where I have this high and this here, that's a more common area, which is why that's where my level was. And then today, come on, Citi. All right, we'll see what happens here. Trying to be patient. BK. We had taken BK off the list for some reason. I never remember why. BK is kind of similar, really. It's kind of gone into this mode here. So okay. That's probably why. Capital One, a little bit looks the same. So some of these have started to crank sideways. These are still going up, right? But that one not as much. So a little more reluctant there. Here's ConocoPhillips, kind of flat. So I'm okay with that. My goodness, Costco. I had a great trade on Costco and I got out and I thought I got out well. And then all of a sudden it's like a whole new trade came and what are you going to do with that? The stochastics looks like you would see if you look down here, it looks like you would be seeing a bull flag. It's not flagging. It just went a whole new trade again. That was interesting. I mean, there's, people are like, oh, what did I miss? Nothing. It just sort of popped and went again. That's just how it goes sometimes. Of course, I would have loved to have stayed in for that, but if I did that over time, it would never work out. CrowdStrike. Oh, CrowdStrike. Look at your earnings, you magnificent bastard. So CrowdStrike, we said it got beat up a little bit. This was the last good trade right here that I got on CrowdStrike. Then CrowdStrike did one of those little like extra bumpies. Then I'm looking for it. It got beat up by somebody else's earnings, recovered. I'm like, okay, it's recovered enough that if it gets a higher low, I'm in. And then earnings. I'm like, earnings are going to disrupt our ability to get in, as it did. And then they were fantastic, as you can see. CrowdStrike. What a beast. What a beast. CSX looks okay. It's holding up. Stochastics is turning up. Heiken Ashi still look fine, but not good. This can't turn red, or this trade is dead. If this stays and then resumes, great. So we know our marching orders. I'm not going to let this thing break below, 30. I don't like round numbers, so probably just under 38. I don't want to see it break below 38. Okay. Delta, kind of iffy. Okay, DHI is in a pullback. I would trade. I said home builders I would trade as long as it pulls back a little bit more. Maybe catch it between 146 and 148 ish. Dow pulling back, but it's fine. It's holding up. Ford seems to have rolled over. So if you were in Ford, if you didn't get out yesterday, you're probably looking at today as being done. Yeah. So, and there still should be a gain in there for you. Fastenal. So Fastenal is an interesting one because we were looking for it to flag and then it popped, but it still kind of looks like it's now in a flag and the stochastics is kind of trying to turn out of it. So, if this is what I have, if I'd like one more day and then I'd want to put my order right through here, right? Where it's like, if it does this and then pops out of it, bam, that's what we're looking for. So I would definitely say, do I have my paper here? Small gain on Ford. Nice. Love it. Love it. Love it. Did we have any others that we said we liked yet? Or was this the first one? Everything else was kind of not, right? Did we identify any others that I had said look like they're close? I can't remember. Okay, I'm just going to pop through. Nope, I didn't think so. I didn't think so. Not even City. Nope, none of them are they. BLDR. I'll put BLDR on the list. I mean, it's not that close yet, but you don't know how long. AXP, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Press. Definitely AXP. And home builders, you're right. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. And Fastenal. GBTC. Woo. Well, I don't know what the hell is going on with Bitcoin. Got beat up yesterday on heavy volume, gap back up today. I mean, it's gone parabolic. It's at the highs. I think it has more consolidation, but it's a freight train, so be careful. 67K. Uh-huh. GE, maybe starting to pull back. I don't know. But where did this run for GE come from? GE doesn't just sort of like pop into 20% runs in a month and a half or a month, right? That's crazy. Gold. I was talking to someone and they're like, there's a global gold buying thing or something going on. I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh, there's not. Look at it. And it was how it was said somewhere around here, and then all of a sudden, bam! I'm like, holy shit, he might be right. Some global, all of a sudden, just this weird surge in gold. Did silver do the same? Ooh, look at silver making a little bit of a pop. Um, nice. Okay. All right. Well, Google, like Apple, struggling. We're not, I mean, look, the fact that the NASDAQ is holding up in the face of Google and Apple really getting kind of pounded right now is quite remarkable. What would I want to see here? I'd want to see the same thing. Pop it up, higher low. That's what we're looking for there. Um did you close them though? Did you lock them in? Press. Yeah, well done. Well done. Home Depot. Oh, put it on the list. I told you that I have underestimated Home Depot and it has worked hard to prove me wrong. And I'm convinced, Home Depot. We're on the same team. IBM. Okay. I don't think there was a trade there to catch. So if someone's like, oh, I missed it, I don't think you missed anything. It was just kind of weirdly meandering around aimlessly after its really strong earnings. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait a second. We want to be bullish. Great. Next higher low pullback, I'm in. And it might take a little while. This thing's going to keep on moving up, but be patient. This trade will come. Yeah. Remember that we were patient and waited for Apple before, and it paid off. We were able to find ourselves trying to catch all these trades in here. That one didn't go so well, but still was profitable. Anyways, Intel. Okay, I'm a maybe on Intel. Yeah, I think Intel's trying to move back into the upper echelon of the chips. What happened? It broke the high. You know the rules. It broke the high. If you're not going to recognize that, well, then why are you doing technical analysis? It broke the high. Didn't just break the high, but it did it on good volume. Well, it did do it on good volume, and then the next one gave some back. However, now it seems to be possibly stabilizing. So up, down, higher, low. Yes. That's what we're looking for. That's what tells us that this thing, that's what we've been waiting for the whole time. We just never got it. Put it on the list. Intel. Excellent. IWM, I would actually put IWM on the list. Just made a new high. Looks like it's kind of pulling back. If you missed it yesterday, we met for our Tuesday, Thursday, 8:30 p.m. session. Options Foundations, remember, back into options. Hip, hip, hooray. A lot of fun. A lot more application sessions this time, playing with option pricing models and building trades. Make sure you come. JP Morgan. Okay. Okay. It looks great, but it's not a setup. If you notice in financials, we're gonna maybe want to do some cleansing because all of a sudden there's some things turning sideways and other things that are still strong. And what we want to do is get rid of the sideways and maybe go add some more strong from a search and keep our watch list fresh. Meta. Oh, come on, Meta. I thought you were going to give me a chance to trade you. I don't do these 2-day I need 3 days for it to be a flag. 2 days is not enough. That's really just one day. So I'm still iffy on Meta. That's hard to trade right there. Microsoft. Okay, Microsoft. We need Microsoft and Meta to hold up, and Nvidia. We need them to hold up because Apple and Google are just looking terrible. Wasn't a great day yesterday, but it wasn't terrible volume. And if we can hold above the 50, things might be a little easier. Netflix, put it on the list. Communication services just made a new high. Now it's pulling back. As it pulls back, ooh, I can vision it in here somewhere. 570. Okay. Mickey Donald's, Sandy says. I've had some relative success with Mickey Donald's through the years. So yeah, let's pull it up. It's an interesting one because it's somewhat defensive. I think they consider that consumer staples, McDonald's. Because no matter what, even if the economy's bad, everybody still wants to eat their Mickey Donald's. It's a little flat for me overall. Actually, no, I take that back. I agree. I agree with McDonald's. Here's why. Consolidation, broke it, higher high, pulled back, higher low. Yes, to me. Yesterday was the entry day. Today is pretty close and would probably give you a Heiken Ashi bam. I like it, Sandy. That's a great recognition. Great recognition. If I hope that your rationale was similar to mine. You can see sometimes we get distracted. If you look, this looks sideways, but this over here coming out of the consolidation she said, I love it. Magnifique. And she gave it to me basically in its alphabetical order. You guys know I'm superstitious about putting symbols in alphabetical order. NVIDIA back into beast mode. It gave you this flag opportunity right here. That was it. Here was going to be iffy early here. You have it. And now it's already up another 10% in 4 days. Michael said his father made tons of money. Oh God, I bet. What would that be like 70s, 80s? I bet. Yeah. Yeah. McDonald's, Walmart, Apple, even in some of the, not the 70s, but the 80s. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Car overextended, nothing for us. Q's. Hey, Q's pulling back. Consolidating. Great. Oh, thank you, press. Dun, dun, dun. Palantir. Palantir does still look strong. It's bumped up. I think Palantir is riding crowds' coattails a little bit. I mean, they did their own good earnings back here to make a nice little jump, but yeah, Palantir. I used to like trading quite a bit of Palantir actually, but when it turned into this little fiasco, not much there. Still in it. All right. Oh, look at you guys. Love it. Love it. Love it. Palantir, Ross Stores. Oh, I don't know what's going on there. Earnings, that's what. That's right. I had a great trade back here. This was a great trade on Ross Stores. And then waiting for earnings, they gap down, moving back up. I would still say in its consolidation, if I were looking at this, I would literally look at it like this, and I would just kind of discount all of that. Nah, that didn't happen. I would, this is how I would have my mind trying to look at this, that it's in this flag. The stochastics is coming down. So if it like dojis and then does something like this, that would be valid to me. Right. So it's a hard one because when you see it gap like this on earnings, you're like, oh, what do I do with that? I'm going to ignore the bottom 2/3 of that candle. That's my thought process. SMCI still in beast mode as well. Went full beast mode right here on this turn. SPY is holding up. We're up about 0.5%, but our opening range is down. So we've given some back. So if this holds, we'll be fine. If this breaks, I think we're going to fill this gap and we're going to end up, I'd say, closer to 506, 506.5 again at the end of today. Yeah, I'd like to see us hold up, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Here is TPR. TPR looks good. That looks viable. You're looking for one out of consumer discretionary. This thing has held up, starting to turn. And you probably have a nice Heikin-Ashi today. That would, I would probably not put my stop down in here. I'd probably put my stop just under these bodies here. I'm taking less than $1 worth of risk. I think this thing could, I think I could take $1 worth of risk and get easily 3 or 4 on it. Watch out for the dividend. So it is paying a 35-cent dividend, but it's already known. So what's going to happen is your options are going to drop when that happens because options have no benefit. Good call out, Bob. But options have no benefit, but because it's already known, it's already priced in. Those options, if you buy a call, that call is cheaper because the market knows it's going to drop by 35 cents when that dividend comes. So the worst part of a dividend is if you're in an option trade and the company, this happened right in a December one year, and Costco, I remember, announced a special dividend. It was probably trading around 100 or so, because I remember it was like 6%. It was like a $6 dividend. And it was like, oh shit. Because if you had calls, that killed you. You have to decide, am I going to exercise my call to buy the stock to benefit from the dividend? Because as soon as that dividend was announced, all the options started adjusting for the fact that that stock was going to drop. So I'm okay with it if I know about it and it's not a huge one, but you're right that it is going to have an impact. What do I think about Oracle? Nick wants to know, and I want to tell him. Well, let's grab it. Oracle. I would actually say yes, if not for earnings. This is going to be the same kind of a thing that we ran into with BLDR, right? Or because for me, this is coming down and it broke above it, pulling back. If I get a higher low, that's a setup. What's the problem? Earnings is just really close. Okay. Where were we? TSM overextended. Okay. Yeah, overextended, nothing for us. UNP definitely on the list. The VIX is okay, it's holding up, but it's just kind of still like, are we or are we not? We're not sure yet. We're watching. Waste management, definitely viable, right? Definitely viable, more of a industrial. Walmart gave a signal. You could have taken it on Monday. Now we're moving. I think some people are already in that one. XBI consolidating, materials overextended, communication services setting up. XLE, financials are steady, industrials are steady, technology consolidating, staples steady, utilities are showing a little bit of strength all of a sudden. We got to keep an eye on that. And I would say XLV is still a setup. XLY looks great. Consumer staples, everything's looking pretty, or consumer discretionary, everything looks good. Looks good. We have setups. Let's see if that's what it brings us. Lastly, don't forget we are working on section 2 in our trading plan, market forecasting. Please make sure you're giving me that hour. All I need is an hour each week to make it happen. So, oh, and lastly, Discord. Yeah, we actually have way more than you think, Stephen, but I have some ideas. The Discord is going to be for the alerts. Discord may be playing a different role soon. So if you're not on Discord, get there. You're going to want to get there because more things are going to be coming that way. You'll see what I mean soon. But I'm trying to figure it out to see. So, okay. All right. It's good to see everybody today. I'll see you tomorrow night for Options Foundations part continuing to go. And yeah, those are mostly the active participants. We will get more participating. I promise you this. You want to get on Discord and get comfortable because there are going to be some things happening in there. I've had some brainstorming sessions, and I'm going to make sure that becomes increasingly part of what we do. Thanks, everybody. It's good to see you. Have a great rest of your day. As always, happy trading.